Greetings everyone. The purpose of this video is to understand the steps and resources needed to complete Module 3, Establishing the Relationship. So if we take a look at the assignment, basically what we're going to be doing is a role play. And in your partners, one of you will be the customer, the other will be the salesperson. And we're going to take a look at the instructions for both. And the actual meeting will take place digitally or virtually. Typically, you can use Zoom, Google Hangouts, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So let's take a look at the instructions specifically for the salesperson. So in this case, again, you're going to be meeting a prospective client. That client is Aaron Atkins, okay? And really the goal of this meeting is to establish a relationship. This is the first time you're going to be meeting, and you just want to have that strong relationship, and you want to talk a little bit about what benefit it might be for them to have meetings in your facility, and hopefully figure out perhaps whether or not they're actually going to be having conventions shortly. Now, we do have some information on this client already because of Tony Bush, which is a mutual acquaintance of yours. So he did give you some information. And we're going to use this information to initiate our conversations. So again, we're going to be the ones initiating that conversation, and we're going to be using these topics to discuss. So that's really the instructions for the salesperson. We'll talk a little bit more about conversational strategies. We look at the resources, but for now, let's take a look at the instructions for the customer. So again, you as a customer, this is your other role-playing partner. Your name is Aaron Atkins, and you are basically the chairperson for your local YMCA. And the idea behind the customer instructions is really trying to understand how to relay information, okay? So again, you're going to be waiting for the salesperson to start a topic. And when they provide a topic that you might be interested in, that's when you are going to be cued to give some more information. So for instance, if the salesperson brings up the topic of Tony Bush, then that's something that you're interested in. You're going to give out some more information, maybe perhaps say, yes, Tony Bush is a golfing partner of mine, okay? So it's important to give out information one at a time. And also take note, there are some topics that you don't want to talk about. Okay, so if that salesperson talks about, something that you appeared in television, or something about your fitness cycle in your office, you're going to react differently. So just take a look at the instructions on how you would react. Okay, now remember, because this is supposed to be a face-to-face meeting in your office, it's going to take place a little differently on the Zoom call. But you might want to have some props that might initiate some conversations. Okay, so those are the instructions. Now, in terms of resources, again, if you want to use Zoom, you can do it. It's free, so you can use this account or this link to get a free account. Otherwise, if you have any other software that you can use, that's fine. Just make sure that both parties are visible. Okay. Now, in terms of conversational strategies, I touched on briefly. If you take a look at Chapter 4, specifically conversational strategies that enhance relationships, these are the type of strategies you want to take a look at. But I would suggest reading Chapter 4. It's very helpful in regards to communication skills and just how do you have an overall good presentation. And finally, of course, take a look at the rubric, okay, or the evaluation. This will give you a good understanding specifically of what the salesperson's expectations are, okay? And then we also have what the customer should be doing as well, followed by, your general presentation skills. Don't forget to introduce yourselves. That's also important as well. Reminder also, when you do submit in two different areas. Okay, so this is where you're going to submit, and that's where you'll be evaluated by the instructor. But I also want you to submit your videos in establishing the relationship. That way, our classmates can take a look at our meetings as well, and there'll be more relevance on that in Moodle 6. So remember, be creative, have fun, and I look forward to your videos.